Pro-Palestinian protests continued for a fifth day at New York's Columbia University. More is Jackie Ibanez.
The White House and several New York leaders are strongly condemning the ongoing pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University. President Biden is calling them blatantly anti-Semitic, and a rabbi at the school is warning Jewish students to leave the campus for their own safety. Protesters are demanding a ceasefire in Gaza and for the university to completely divest from Israel. More than 100 people have been arrested since demonstrations started last week.
Suspect arrested after breaking into the home of Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass.
That intruder got into her home here in the Hancock Park area. Her reps say she is okay, but I just spoke with a lieutenant who said the suspect appears to have hurt himself while breaking in through a glass door. They do say the suspect suffered minor injuries and has been arrested. One of the mayor's representatives came out to tell us that she is okay. He gave us the following statement. He said, quote, "This morning at about 6:40 a.m., an intruder broke into Getty House through a window. Mayor Bass and her family were not injured and are safe. The mayor is grateful to LAPD for responding and arresting the suspect."
Chelsea Edwards with Fox TV affiliate KTTV in Los Angeles. The day before the start of the Jewish Passover holiday, President Biden is issuing a call to fight anti-Semitism. Fox's Jill Nato reports.
The president singled out colleges, saying anti-Semitism has no place on college campuses or anywhere in our country. The Anti-Defamation League says it tracked nearly 9,000 anti-Semitic incidents across the U.S. in 2023. That's the highest number since the organization started tracking data in 1979. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Reporter Terry Anderson, who became one of America's longest-held hostages, has died. Passed away at his home in Greenwood Lake, New York. Cause of death not given. I'm Sue Guzman. This is Fox News.
Get ready to make waves at the event of the year. The Micronesian Conservation Coalition proudly presents the 3rd annual Ocean Gala, taking place Saturday, May 11th from 6 to 10 at the stunning Hyatt Regency Guam. Join us to celebrate our beautiful ocean and the tireless efforts of our community to preserve it. Dance the night away with live music, indulge in exquisite cuisine, and be inspired by our Starry Night celebration, honoring our ocean champions. Tickets are selling fast at $150 a head, or grab a table for 10 for just $1,400. WhatsApp or call 671-797-8445 with your interest. That's 671-797-8445. Special thanks to our generous sponsors, including Environmental Chemical Corporation, Bank of Guam, Future Smiles Orthodontics, Unitech Environmental Guam, Phoenix Jet, and Landscape Management Systems. Don't miss out. In the words of Vincent van Gogh, great things are done by a series of small things brought together.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
An NBA player who was there for his old high school coach makes today's Dean's List. Mitchell Robinson plays for the New York Knicks. Butch Stockton, his former coach in Louisiana, made a huge impact on Mitchell's life and career. And now Mitchell is helping Butch in a time of need. Butch lost his wife, who was very ill and in the hospital. Mitch would visit her every day while she was there, and when she died, he was heartbroken too. She and Butch were like family to him. At the funeral, Mitch invited Butch to come live with him in New York and watch him play basketball with the Knicks to help him get through the grief and pain of losing his wife. Butch took him up on the offer, and they've been roommates since the start of the season. Butch was able to tell the story of how his former student helped him get through the worst days of his life. And it's stories like this one that continue to bring us all faith that there is indeed so much goodness in the world. Janice Dean, Fox News.
It is now time for Veterans with Benefits with your hosts, Anthony and Corinna.
Half a day. Welcome back. You can catch us on The Point, and you can call in at 671-888-TALK. So, of course, we're going to start with our sponsors: Ambrose, American Legion, Noka Oy, Guam Eco Surfaces, Hebzibah Clinic 11Zs, which is located right behind the radio station, and they offer an 11% discount for military and veterans. And also Motion Tide and Vic Gaza. So before we start with our guest, a few announcements. We have our benefits boot camp on Wednesday at the Agate Community Center, starting at 6 p.m. And it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Gosh, today's Monday.
I know.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, sorry. Did you want to say hi?
Hi, this is Anthony. I'm the other part of the show, but usually wait till the end to get announced, but that's okay.
Well, Jose introduced us, but if I don't make these announcements,
That's
we
why I
will
like
forget.
Jose.
Because you know, Jose, he said he likes you.
He's
we
a
missed
great
you today.
producer.
We missed you the past 2 days, but he's doing fine.
I just wanted to say hi to Aaliyah and Knox.
Aww.
Okay, that's it for me. Go ahead.
Okay. And then May 11th. Oh, wait, boot camp. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Agate Community Center, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. If you haven't registered, that's okay. You can just show up. And then we have May 11th is HMI's fundraiser at veteran-owned Good Company in Agania. It's a veteran-owned bar in Agania across Boat Basin.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the boot camp on Wednesday. That's day one. We're going to have someone from CBOC there, and their job is to do the PACT Act expansion, the March 5th PACT Act expansion. So if you're a veteran who you don't have to have been deployed to combat, but if you were exposed to chemical hazards, environmental hazards, it's a good idea to go there and get registered. You're also going to run into one of the veterans who, at our last boot camp, had not been receiving any benefits, medical care, but on that night when Miss Celeste filled out his paperwork, the very next day he was called to go get his medical care.
And his ID.
And
picture,
his,
yeah, take a picture for his ID.
Yeah, but that's not the service-connected one.
No.
That's just the medical care card. Okay, so that's great news, and that's why that's very important. And even if you're not going to be attending the boot camp, come out and sign up. So at least go see what they can do for you with the PACT Act expansion. Okay.
Yes. And then our next no more bags at the commissary since March 15, no more bags. And then Boot Camp 29 will be in May at the PD Social Hall, May 6, 7, and 8. And then the next announcement is save the date for our golf fundraiser, October 5th. And then Bet of the Week.
Oh,
so our Veteran of the Week is Lee Weber. I think everyone knows who Lee Weber is. He served as a United States Naval Hospital Corpsman and served in Vietnam in the 3rd Marine Division, 3rd Recon Battalion. Before retiring after 40 years with the Gannett Company, he was president and publisher of the Honolulu Advertiser and president of the Gannett Pacific Corporation for 2.5 years. He was an active board member of numerous businesses, military and community organizations, including the Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii and Military Advisory Committee, Boy Scouts of America, Aloha Council, and the Federal Law Enforcement Foundation, and the Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies, and currently serves as a U.S. Air Force Civic Leader Advisor, PACAF, to the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Prior to that, he held several key positions at Guam Publications, Inc. and USA Today. Mr. Weber's awards include U.S. Air Force Secretary of the Air Force Distinguished Public Service Award, 2019, Guam Business Executive of the Year, 2007, Doctor of Humane Letters, University of Guam, 2004, Gannett Chairman Ring, includes 7 rings. Oh, wow. 1988, 89, 90, 91, 2002, 3, and 4. And the Sunshine Award, Freedom of Information Society of Professional Journalists, 2000. Among his military awards are Combat Action Ribbon, Presidential Unit Citation, 2 awards, Navy Unit Citation, 2 awards, Meritorious Unit Citation, Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Medal, Vietnam Service Medal with 4 Bronze Stars, Republic of Vietnam Meritorious Unit Citation, Civil Actions First Class Color with Palm, Republic of Vietnam Meritorious Unit Citation, and Vietnam Campaign Medal, U.S. Air Force Distinguished Service Award. His military association memberships include U.S. Navy League, 3rd Marine Division Association, Air Force Association, K-San Veterans Association, and 3rd Recon Association. He's also a life member of VFW and NCOA. Mr. Weber is from Pennsylvania, and his wife June is from Guam. They have 2 sons and 1 daughter and 4 grandchildren. His hobbies include swimming, scuba diving. He is an NAUI instructor. dive instructor, underwater photography, IPSC, pistol shooting, IPSC, rifle, trap, and skeet shooting. Wow. So that was actually, I actually did kind of shorten his bio because it is longer than that. But congratulations.
What didn't he do?
Right? What didn't he do? Lee Weber.
Okay, now the clapping begins. Yay! Good job. Congratulations, Lee Weber.
Yes, congratulations. And we do this every week. So if you want to nominate a veteran, your veteran, reach out to us. You can give me a call or send me a message, 671-682-7631. Or our new person, Sue, I'm going to give your number out.
Yay.
Next week. I'll give her number out. I have to ask her first. And now we can introduce our guest.
I'm going to do it. You're going to do it.
No, you're going to do it.
So why don't we let him introduce himself? How's
yes,
that?
he can. Yes, he can.
Let's let you do it.
All righty.
Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me here. I am Vic Gaza. Actually, a classmate of Mr. Tyron here. We graduated together from high school.
How did we do that?
I don't know, but we're both here, right?
And what was the school?
Oh, yeah, what school did you guys go
Father
to?
Duenas
Yes.
Memorial High School. So
Great school to be there.
and for full disclosure, I am not a veteran, but I certainly appreciate veterans and all the men and women who serve in our armed forces and for what they do for the protection of our democracy and for our freedom. My grandfather was a veteran. I have uncles who are veterans, and I certainly appreciate the work you guys do, HMI, getting the word out to these people, helping them navigate the difficult task of getting their benefits. So I'm very honored to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're happy you're here, and maybe one of the things we can talk about is you were working with Senator. Aside from all the other stuff we've done, you know, you were working with Senator Lujan's office, Jesse Lujan,
Yes.
at the time, and I know you had reached out to me from the office, and you were instrumental in getting us to put a resolution together, and it was very interesting that it came from the senator because that wasn't his committee at the time.
Right,
but
right.
but nonetheless, it was awesome. It was great, and we really appreciated that from the senator and the office, and of course with your help. And what that did, not just for us, was all the volunteers and the people that put in the hard work and effort to do this work. Sure. A lot of them are veterans. Sometimes it's their families, it's businesses. So when we're doing that, that's helping us to at least say thank you. It's the least we can do, and that resolution has their name on it, and it talks a lot about how this type of work gets done. So once again, thanks for that. Anything on that about how that happened and how maybe we can do more of those things to recognize our veterans and these organizations out here?
Sure. Well, first of all, I had to step down from the senator's office, right?
Okay.
I chose to myself run for public office.
Yes.
But at that time, I was his chief of staff, and the senator is very open-doored minded, right? I mean, when we talked and we reached out, anything we could do, and he's the kind of guy you can go in his office, and it doesn't matter if it's in his committee or if it's not in his committee. We're there to listen. That's what our job is, and so. In working with you and getting all of that done, we were happy to be a part of that, right? And I even attended the UOG symposium with you guys,
Yes.
and I got to see actually what you guys do, right?
Yes.
And all the information that you have for all the veterans that come out to try to navigate the process of getting their benefits, and so.
And that was surprising. I to actually have you sit there and look at that, right? Because you were there for a good chunk of that. Aside from, hey, they need me over here, I'll be back tomorrow or something.
No.
But I actually saw you sitting there the whole time, and I was like, wow,
it's really
that's
part of our job, right? I mean, we work for the people. We need to understand what you guys are doing so that we can figure out if there's anything more we can do for you, right? And now I sit here as an individual,
Yes.
looking to see what can be done for veterans as a whole in the future, right? And maybe how the government can engage in trying to help your mission and help your process, right? To get veterans the assistance they need. And this was just, for me, it's a learning process, right?
Yes.
I'm not a veteran, but we're here to as a person who's trying to aspire to be a public servant, I want to learn and see what I could possibly do to help, right?
And we talked about that a little bit earlier before we jumped on. Tell us again what it is that you did a couple of days ago and what you found out, and then we could share what we know about that.
Well, I had the pleasure of visiting former Senator Dennis Rodriguez,
Very nice.
his Todo Guam Health and Wellness Center,
Yes,
located at the Sunny Plaza, and in doing so, I got to tour his facility, his center, right? And they do offer really new technologies for, and he did mention veterans do avail of this technology. It's called TMS, or in their case, it's brainwave deep TMS. It's a way to send magnetic pulses into the surface of the brain to help with depression or even addiction, I believe, smoking and other things. So, I know that they are covered by TRICARE, TriWest, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Oh, wow. Okay, so if a veteran is service connected,
sure.
then they can
avail
TriWest.
the services as long as they're referred to by their primary health provider, right, or their doctor. They can go there and get that service. And as when I was thinking about that, coming into the show, I was thinking, the nonprofit angle here, right, is something that the government should try to encourage, right, because this is not only helping veterans, it's helping everybody island-wide, but also taking out the burden from our public health care system, right, the hospital and the public health system. But veterans especially, this is new technology that's probably not, it's FDA approved. It's probably, I don't know if it's offered anywhere else on island. Maybe you might know that better than I do.
I'm not sure, but what we do know is that it was introduced to us, I think, last year sometime. There was already talk of it coming out, and of course, we have Dr. Akoma who works with us on our mission to help veterans, right?
Sure.
So Doc, I think, was talking to our one of our former members, Miss Jen, who's part of Todo Guam also, I think, or she goes out and volunteers her time.
Right.
Jen is a veteran as well, and she's out there volunteering her time to do a lot of different missions. So here are things that she brought to us, and we talked about it. We didn't quite learn yet whether they were already covered by insurances or everything. Sure. So right now, hearing that from you is great. The two mental health folks are Dr. Root and Dr. Lighthizer that we generally look to in the civilian side, right? And I'm sure they could bring us up to speed on something like that and how that can be incorporated. And then, of course, Dr. McDermott up at the CBOC, he's the federal side of the house that they do a lot of the medical care for our veterans. Now, whether it's accepted up there or not, I'm not sure. I don't believe we have the equipment up there, right?
But we can definitely find out now that you said TriWest. Right. So for those listening, and if you just hopped on, what Vic is talking about is TMS. So it's transcranial magnetic stimulation. So it's to treat. I looked up on their Instagram, depression, anxiety, OCD, or smoking addiction. So it's you can reach out to Todo Guam. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on Facebook, and you can find them online. And you can call them at 671-649-TODU for more info. So if we don't want to speculate, right? And
Sure.
but you did get a tour.
I visited there. I saw the technology, and it was an hour visit. It's brief, but I went to all the other divisions. But yes, he wanted. I told him I wanted to mention this on the show, and he said, "Please, by all means, right."
Well, it looks like something that we should reach out to them and maybe have them on the show to talk more about it.
And whatever can help our veterans, that's essentially what we want to do. I know we also have a group out here that does their own, it's a version of they call it battle buddy talks, right? So our veterans, we go different places, right? Sometimes they'll go to their primary care and get help there. They'll go to psychologists. They'll go to the CBOC. So a lot of times, especially when it deals with mental health, right, it's the comfort of the patient, right? A lot of times we'd like for them to do some things, but many times if the patient doesn't want to come to whatever it is that's there, it doesn't matter how hard you push it or how much money you throw at it, right? If they're not comfortable, they're not comfortable. And we got to figure ways to help them and show them maybe or prove to them that this is something that they can take advantage of.
Let me just say hello to the people watching us online. Hebzibah, hello, Doc. Doc's watching us. Hi, Mike Tyron. Dave Dueña says, Lee Weber, an icon on our island community. Thank you for your service. Congrats. Hello to Essie. Hi, Bill. Bill's watching us. He's saying Hafaday HMI. And then Doc says Hafaday HMI, Hafaday Guam veterans.
Right on.
All right. So as you can see, right, this is another platform for a lot of our veterans to get a lot of information. And we bring all kinds of folks into the radio show, and we try to make that connection of how what they're doing is going to benefit our veterans. And I know I'm not sure that the full campaign season has officially started, especially not on the radio. But at any rate, our connection.
I think it has, man.
It has.
if you look on the roads, the roadways, all the signs are coming up. So,
as it relates,
we can't miss them.
As it relates to the radio, right?
Right,
so
right.
What we don't want to do today is maybe
sure, I understand.
Not let that happen. And regardless of that, I'm sure there's some things that are happening out there, and we have a group of veterans that are considering a somewhat of a debate type, and they're trying to do it for veterans only. So we're going to get all the veterans together, going to kind of put a panel together and get all those running and have them talk about how it is that what they're doing or their plans of running for office and becoming a public official, what they can do to take care of our veterans. So I think that's forthcoming. We're not so firm on details yet.
And I think it's just so important, right? I mean, these are issues now that Guam is facing, right, face to face. We have other issues, but of course, veterans and the health care of our veterans is something that we can no longer just kind of kick the can down the road. We've got to take care of it now, right? I mean, we see it. We see it. We see them affected. We see people having these issues, and our island is small. We're all a family, and so we need to address these things right now, amongst other issues that we won't get into. But veterans especially, right? I mean, we need to take care of them, and that's something that needs to be addressed. And the government, I think, can think outside the box and work with people like yourself and other nonprofits to get some programs going and get some funding or resources to you to get the job done.
And just am I hogging the mic?
No.
Okay, and just a few things, right? I know she always tells me, if I could get just one word in, that'd be great. That's why she gets the first part, so she could never say I didn't offer her some time, right? But I know we floated quite a few things that where we talked about that, hey, what about if we get a veteran on every board? And I know, speaking with Senator Lujan, he had some reservations about it. And at any rate, the idea is less about, well, are they going to do it or aren't they going to do it, right? It's let's take a look at it, right? Because I think the idea is that if we can get a veteran on every board, right, it's never going to be that veterans are forgotten, because that veteran sitting on that board will be the person that should be reporting back to the veterans, or at least fighting for them, we hope, right? And by doing that,
making sure the veterans' interests are being
brought to light, right? And that's something that, that's the idea behind it. There's a few other things out there that we've maybe talked about. So we talked a little bit about funding, right, and how we could do this. Of course, I've spoken to one of the other senators' offices that are in today, and they talked about tax credits. They talked about, finding other ways to fund what we do aside from just grants. And as you know, grants are probably some of the toughest things that we should be, that if you haven't tried applying for a grant, it's a tedious process. It's very involved, and even the best people putting the thing together may not always be successful. And it's very disheartening if you don't get it, especially if you need a lot of help. Now, there are some folks that are fortunate and get that grant, and when they do, we'd like to see them putting that to good use for our veterans. So,
and that again, right? I mean, maybe that is a way for the government to help with you guys. That we have grant writers in the government that maybe can help assist with grants that you guys could avail to, right, and put them together for you. Yeah. I mean, those are the kind of things that, you know, those things that we think about that the government can do to kind of help get your mission accomplished, right? And yes. We have a clearinghouse up at Adelup. They write grants, and that's what they specialize in. And maybe that's one way that we can help. The government could help, right?
Yes. And to do things like what your former office did, and you were the chief of staff there, sure. Is being available for us, right? Sure. And just like we had created a task force, and we're hoping to improve that task force. We have a commission that just elected some of the new leaders there, but it's going on over a year now, and it needs to get moving again so that sure. It can accomplish the things that it was designed to do. And even with that, there's still other things that need to be worked on, right? So, like for example, talking about so we speak a lot with the Congressman's office on a lot of veterans issues, and obviously they're the folks that go out to D.C. and they talk to, you know, Secretary McDonough or their representative to find out how we can get the things that we need out here on Guam, and how the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs can help us. So one of the things that we are aware of, and we're going to be reaching out to the office again, is there is a database, a program that the Department of Veterans Affairs has that our state office is available to utilize. Right. Now, once they can build on that or start getting that to work, I mean, I think that's one way for us to start getting our numbers counted, so we know how many veterans are on island. But we need that database somehow. Sure. And maybe we could get like maybe the Congressman's office to tell us a little bit more about that, or we'll find ways to help facilitate that, so our veterans can now say, hey, what is the real number? And now being able to hold that database, right, and be able to finally understand what our true numbers are, maybe that will be the start. So
sure.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like we're taking a break. You can call in at 671-888-TALK. We'll be right back after this short break.
Choice Broadcasting and Lotte Hotel Guam present the 2024 Island Wedding Expo. Mark the date, Sunday, May 19th. Join us as we showcase an abundance of elegant choices for that special day. Vendor booths are now available, but hurry, they're filling up. If you're a business that specializes in all things weddings, from coordinators to florists to cakes, photographers, and more, call 888-7346 and ask for Doris, Daryl, or Shanzi. For more information about the 2024 Island Wedding Expo, call 888-RDIO.
Boss, I got run over by a forklift.
Boss, I crashed a company truck.
What do we do? Our warehouse and inventory are gone.
Hi, this is Dave Silva from AB Risk Solutions, and it's time for Risk 101. Everything you just heard are examples of risk your businesses can face. Our job is to ask the hard what-if questions and teach you how to reduce your exposures and help you recover if things go sideways. We've got decades of experience in Micronesia working with businesses big and small. Call AB Risk Solutions today at 777-2668 for a free inspection and quote.
AB Risk Solutions, formerly known as Aon.
And we're back. So I just want to read some of the comments online. We have Zachary. He said, those running for Congress should be listening to this. Dave Duenas, I only see a benefit in that idea. Bet on every board. Disciplined, dependable, loyal, and hardworking. And then Patricia Duenas says, I think it's $1 short. My father was a vet, and the vet, I think she means VA, didn't really help him before he died. I'm so sorry. Patricia, if your mom is still still alive. Is she? I hope that she applied for something called DIC. So if a veteran passes away, the spouse or dependents, certain dependents can apply for a benefit called DIC.
And, and they can avail of some of that at our boot camp. We'll provide some of that information. That's day 2 with Pastor Kenny King, who is part of HMI's group that's putting out information on how to successfully navigate the VA process. She can also reach out to the ASIN office, where there are 4 VSOs that are certified that should be able to help her. And then there's also Alan Turner, who is a VSO who's not down at the ASIN office. Oh, and I'll just plug a little here. Alan, if you're listening, I know you sent me an email. I've been really busy. I'm going to read it and send it to my group. So I did not forget, and I did send it to them. So I want you to be mad at them. But we'll take care of you, Alan. I'm sure you're listening.
And then Roki Cruz says, Viva HMI. And then Brennan says, Jigo Jarhead watching.
Oh, wow.
And then...
hey, Brennan.
Let me see. David Mays says, Hafaday, Anthony, and Karina.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I saw him yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yes. We see veterans all over the place.
I know. They're following us.
Awesome.
No, actually, my phone rang a minute before we got on air, and I was like, after I sent out the notification that we're going to be live, my phone starts ringing. I'm like, didn't I just say we're going to be on the air in 1 minute? But my phone starts ringing.
So Friday night, we also got a chance to meet Brian Miranda.
Yes.
So if you ever drive around the island, Brian puts up those veterans parking. And that is such a blessing. When they first talked about it, I was like, what's this, right? And then, I'd be going to a place and I'd find an empty slot that says veterans parking, right? And I'd pull in and I said, yes, there's something and everything else is full, but then there's a veterans parking.
Yeah.
And man, when I see that, I'm like, awesome, it improves my life hugely. Yeah. Now, I have to say one thing, and I've been told they'll never do that, is I'd like to get our bases, like our base commanders, to put some of those on the base. So if you're all listening out there, and you too, Brian, if we could get the bases to put a few veteran parkings. I know there's one guy who's on the other show, but he had told me that the Rear Admiral told him to park there anytime he wants, but the Rear Admiral never told me that. So
park where?
Wherever he wants to park. If there's a parking for the Rear Admiral,
take his parking.
They told him to take the parking. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to park. The MPs will come pick me up. But yeah, that's one of the things that we really enjoy hugely, and we appreciate the work they're doing. And I think that's with the VFW out of 2917.
Yes,
out of
Brian Miranda's, yes.
Yeah, that's their big push.
Let me read some more comments. Marvin Crisostomo says, Viva Veterans. Mike Tyron, I'll sit on one of those boards. Tadza filter. They'll fill veterans' presence. Ay, Mike. And then Zachary said, it's the small things that make a difference, like a parking spot. Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, Brian Miranda.
I thought that those things were like, that's nothing. And then when I needed the parking and I went there, I said, yes, thank you, Brian.
It was there for you.
Yeah, that was awesome. Anyway,
okay.
I think we might have a
caller?
A caller that might be calling in. Let me, so I think we got Ryan. You guys ready for that? We got our headsets in?
Yes, you have your...
So let's...
Hello, Ryan.
Buenas noches.
How are you doing, sir? Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Wayne? Hey, I got a question.
Sure.
There's a bill in Congress. It's actually moved up pretty quick. It's HR 1282.
Okay.
It's called the Major Richard Starr Act. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh, yes, I heard that. You're going to have to remind me about it one more time.
Yeah, that's for combat disabled veterans. These are for members of the military who were retired for line of duty or combat injured.
That's right.
Heart, stuff like that.
I remember. I think I did read that in the paper and or somewhere on one of the news clippings, and it talks about, if I'm not mistaken, the 50%, so that they can get it concurrently without having to hit the 50%.
It's actually those who left their 20 years.
Yes.
Okay, so I could read it. This bill provides that combat disabled uniformed service retirees with fewer than 20 years of creditable service may concurrently receive without reduction veterans disability compensation and retired pay or combat related special compensation.
And I get that. And because I was at the Wounded Warrior Unit in Hawaii.
Awesome.
And I retired, check this out, at 19 years, 8 months, 8 days.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Very
man,
good.
Wow.
But
So, yeah, I got cut short. So I'm one of those guys because my retirement orders from Big Army, it says there, you know, is there injuries as well as combat? Yes. Line of duty? Yes. So I have to waive that. So right now that bill has like 327. It's picking up in the news cycle, and there's 60 of us, I believe, out here. Nationally, it affects 50,000 veterans. It's a certain number.
all right. And you know
These
what?
are the guys that, you know, we would have made the military our career, but we got injured in combat.
That's
And
correct.
It's not fair that we had to waive that. We didn't ask to be like this, and so we were forced to waive it. Basically, you know what I mean? We're paying for our own retirement. We're just collecting VA. That's it.
Oh, wow.
Not our compensation, not our disability compensation.
From the time you served.
Yeah, and that's that bill, HR 1282.
Okay.
The Major Richard Stark. It's currently in the Senate, and Major Chuck Schumer, the majority leader, is on it.
Yeah. It says it's still active. So the last time any action was taken on it was October 2022.
And you know what, Ryan?
No,
This is
last year. I think you're looking at the old one because I'm part of the active groups.
So is this the HR 1282, the 117th Congress?
No.
Oh, you know, your service is cutting in and out. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It's HR 1282 S344.
S344. Okay.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the senator's here or the congressman. I know the congressman is a co-sponsor, but I haven't heard any news out here like, you know, the legislature saying, hey, you know, we endorse this type of bill. We know the bigger picture as well, politically as well, you know, bringing in the economy for the island. But,
well, if there's any senators listening, I mean, it's time for them to take action.
Yeah, and it's almost there, but it'd be nice because there's a lot of some smaller communities out there in the States are actually advocating for it now.
great.
And
I think that's what they were telling us. So the folks that were talking about it were telling the veterans to come out and support it, and I think that's something that we have to do. But even in light of what's going on stateside, it doesn't mean that, like you said, we couldn't get somebody out here. Now, our Veterans Committee chairperson or chairman is Senator Dwayne St. Nicholas, and I know he put something together for the vehicle bill or act that was done out in Congress, so he supported that. Now, I think this could be something that we could get them to do, and we're not late just yet because I know the oversight hearing is still going to be extended for maybe a couple more times. It might be one at the American Legion and another one over at the VFW. And even with that, White Ryan, we invite you, if you're not on our chat group, to share some information, and we could get some other veterans who are like you to get involved. And just being on the show, and if you have some time, maybe we could get one of the senators on here to talk about that. We'll get a hold of Dwayne St. Nicholas, and then we could also reach out to Bobby and the good congressman and make sure that these folks help us.
Yeah, because there's only, like I said, out here, I've been tracking this for a while.
Awesome.
Ryan, what's your number? If you don't want to share, you can.
It's up here.
Oh, you have it?
Yes.
Okay.
There's only about 60 of us out here.
Okay.
That,
but I think a lot of people fall into your category.
No, that's where, yes, disabled, but the key word there is the combat disabled.
Right.
On our orders, it'll say, was injuries a result of combat.
Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll...
that's why a lot of us are getting that CRSC, the one you
right,
mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's like an offset, but, dude, it's really an underhanded shortcut way of, just shorting us.
Yeah, and what I wanted to share too, right, is and there's a lot of other different things, and I often say this, right, that now's the best time for us to be veterans, right? Because there's a lot of information going out, a lot of services going on, but we also got to capture those. So I know at one point the Secretary of the Navy had gone back and looked at all the Navy people that were medically retired or medically forced out and brought them back to become, to retire them. So you know, it's something that, you know, if it's possible for the Secretary of the Navy to take care of Navy personnel, I believe it's something that we could probably do with everything else that we're doing. We really need to pay attention to it and stay on top of it. And I'm glad you're doing that. And what we could do is we'll hold your name and number.
I'm well versed in that.
Good, great.
It stands to benefit economically, financially, of course, the service member.
Of course.
And,
Definitely.
You know, because for me, I mean, I get it with everybody else. That's one of the contentions in the groups. That's why we kind of broke off, because it's called Chapter 61. You know, they got people medically retired, right, for bad backs, you know, non-combat.
Right.
So what they're doing right now is they're trying to do it piecemeal. So the first batch they did was 2004, and those that who were serving over 20, right, they were allowed to collect. And then since then we've been fighting this with Chapter 61, but it wasn't working. So we focused on the combat ones. So hence the Major Richard Starr Act, named after a gentleman who died
because
as a result of it.
Yeah, trying to get it right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome.
I'm not, you know, like I said, the reason why I'm calling is that it's not being picked up here. And so I get it that there's many of us, but there's also a fewer of us too that, I don't know, brother. You know what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's good. It's good, and you've got to keep it on everyone's radar too.
Yeah, because you know, I know you guys get it. A lot of us would rather be just left alone. You know, and I'm forcing myself to do this right now, to call and bring.
Well, and don't give up. If Anthony Tyron and Bill Salisbury and Matt Trufferis and Brian Hahn saw the need for veterans to get assistance and gave up, then we wouldn't be here today. HMI wouldn't be here today, and so you cannot give up.
Yeah, and
no, ma'am. And so I'm calling. I mean, if Mr. Tyron can, the man's pretty active. I've watched, and it's admirable what he does.
Thank you.
To talk to these people, say, hey, man, look at this bill. I mean, come on now.
Yes.
And we're known for patriotism out here, and if you are not a wealthy family, a lot of us, the military was the equalizer.
Well, and you're only talking about the 60 here, but what about the ones, in the States or those living abroad, those that don't even know that this exists or that there's action on this? Because if you don't follow it and if you don't keep it, at the forefront, then it might be forgotten. So you cannot give up.
Yeah. No, yes. We got, of course, this bill covers a lot of the veterans, everybody going back who are still alive. You know what I'm saying? That we bless them. It was just lousy. You know what I mean, Wayne? Man, 19 years, 8 months, 8 days. Dude, my orders, when I looked at that, I was just like, oh, wow, man.
Yeah, that is not, and so there's quite a few things that, our nation, while it's great, there are some things that we need to fix with it, and without us bringing it to light and talking about it, it's never going to be taken. Yeah,
it's an insult. You know what I mean?
Yes,
we
especially
didn't ask to be like this, man. We didn't ask to get messed up, and then you turn around and penalize me.
Yes, and
you know what I'm saying? I wanted to serve my country. I mean, geez, this was it 19 years showing that, hey, man, this guy was a lifer, and then he gets screwed over in the service, and then you screw you over even more.
Yeah. Exactly, and I'll share with you some of the things that we've done, right, is like whenever I bump into a veteran and he tells me he's combat, right, and I ask him, have you ever filed anything yet? And they tell me, no, I haven't. I said, you need to come here now. Mm-hmm. And I do that because that's the highest in-service event that you can, that's the only thing we train for is combat. And if you were fortunate enough to be selected to go and do your duty that you've been trained to do, and even more fortunate to make it back home, right? You guys are the guys that we should be taking care of, right? And even if they're not asking for it, I'm asking them to come see me, and I will try to help them the best I can to get them their benefits because, they got to put it in. So, hey, Ryan,
we're going on a break.
We're going to a break, but we got your name and info. Call us again. Shoot us something on
Wayne,
Facebook.
If you can, man, if you can, talk to the senator and bring it up.
We'll do that.
I mean, you can talk to me offline. It'd be great.
You got it. Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
All right.
Ryan.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
Okay, man.
Adjust.
KFC's extra tasty spicy is here to set every moment on fire. Spice up your day with a dash of extreme spicy. Available in battered fries, boneless crispy strips, and KFC crispy chicken. Order the extra tasty spicy and get ready for a fiery feast. Enter KFC's spiciest era yet. Get your fix at your favorite KFC today or order online at kfcguam.com. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Hi, this is Jerry Roberts. What's happening in the workplace? What about your job and career? What ideas will find their way into your world? That's what you get with the Extra Point every day on The Ray Gibson Show here on 93.3 FM. Sometimes it's about what's in the news, or working relationships, or how to get further and do better. I try to make it interesting, inspiring, and hopefully sneak a little fun in too. Be a part of it. 7:25 weekday mornings. The Extra Point, brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank.
And we're back. So during the break, we're talking about recapping about the Major Richard Starr Act. Did you want to share some info that you already pushed out regarding that, Anthony? Because, we work fast.
So what I did was I went ahead and I sent a little message to the congressman's office for now. And then we're also hearing from Jesse's office that, this is kind of the category. And I think for like Marvin, who's your replacement.
Yes.
Or however you want to call it. I don't know if that's is that a nice way of saying it?
That's a nice way of saying
it. Okay.
Predecessor, right?
Yes, predecessor.
Yes, predecessor.
It's
right.
okay.
But he's back. He's back over there. I mean, he's over there, right? So
sure.
So he's combat also. Yeah. So anytime somebody who's combat talks to me, I'll share like Pastor Kenny King.
Sure.
He told me he was in combat, right? I said, file, hurry up, turn it in.
Yes.
And
yes.
Believe it or not, a lot of these folks, right? When you go back and look at and for combat people. That's what we train for. So sure. It's a hard enough task to be in the service, and it's even harder when you're out there in combat. So, again, being fortunate enough to be sent out to serve your country, and then being even more fortunate to come back home. When you come home, we should be taking care of you, right? Yes. And I think that's some of the things that's going on now, and why our veterans are really looking at: are we truly being taken care of, and what can we do? So. I think I know in the congressman's office there are, they're able to hire like Gold Star family members as well as just veterans as well. I mean, yeah, family members, right? Because if it's Gold Star, it has to be like the family member.
You mean in Congress?
Yes, right, in the congressman's office. So I think there's jobs there for these folks, disabled veterans, combat veterans. Sure. So there's funding that they put together. Almost like what we talked about putting somebody on a board.
The board or commission, right?
Yeah, so
and that's something that people should actually another way to look at things, right? I mean, we need to look outside the box and dealing with all of these things, right? And that's why this dialogue is so important, right? I'm sitting here, and again, I'll full disclosure, I'm not a veteran, but it's an issue here on Guam, and we need to get this out to people, and we need to talk about this. So I'm learning quite a bit here, right? I thank you for the for the invite, because I'm learning quite a bit.
Well, you're ahead of the game, because we just said, hey, let's come on in and talk, right?
Yeah,
that FD brotherhood is kind of strong,
but
right?
but I appreciate it, right? I truly appreciate it, because I'm learning quite a bit here, and as I go in and talk to people now. And meet people, this will become part of my messaging, right?
Yes.
And I understand it a little better. And anything I can do to support, even outside of that, I will support HMI and what you guys are doing here, right? I'm proud to sponsor you guys.
Thank you.
Money well spent. Money well spent.
Yes. And so a couple more things. So like when it comes to like the process, right?
Sure.
I mean, so some of the things we got to do is to encourage all our veterans, right? Hey, get out there and register and go vote. You know, if you're able to do that and become part of the process, you're able to be a huge part of what will happen in the future. And
Correct.
And you can hear these things here, right? And end of the day, get involved. I mean, everything we do is politics. If you stay away from it and people make decisions,
right,
that's
you know,
you live with that. If you join it.
Yeah.
And it
we
helps.
can't be spectators anymore, right?
Mhm.
And I tell people this all the time, from all walks of life, right? I mean, we have to take part in this process. If we want change, you have to be a part of the change. We can't sit and wait and say, well, they'll take care of it and we'll just accept it, right? We can't be spectators. We can't sit on the sidelines anymore. People need to get involved. And I'm glad you guys have this talk show. You have this group. You can influence it, and it's one of the very freedoms you fight for, one of the very rights we fight for. That's what you guys fight for, so that we have that right to vote and decide who's going to take care of us, all of us, right?
And I think all you need is a driver's license, hopefully.
Yes, that's all you need.
To go
You
register
need to be a
at
US citizen,
your
mayor's office.
You can mayor's office. I think you can do it online
You can
too.
do it online very
Yeah.
fast. It takes like 3 minutes.
Oh wow!
Right, you can just put your driver's license information in there, and you're registered. And you know, we tell this to so many people because the voter turnout right now is so low. It's absolutely so low right now. So you guys have access to all of these good people, these veterans. Motivate them, right, and get them out, because it's going to take 15 individuals in there who will work together.
Right.
We all have our roosters. We all want that one person, but one person can't make the difference. So, you know, if we get 15 people that will work together and be open-minded, things will move forward.
And just like, you know, when we first did our symposium, and we're coming up on our third annual symposium, the idea was to get the leaderships out there to talk about what's going on and brief the veterans and have the veterans ask questions.
Sure.
And believe it or not, just like this topic that we just had, there were some kind of heated or headed towards heated discussions, because, you know, veterans feel strongly about these things because it affects them, which is all the more reason why we got to do this.
It's your life, right? I mean, I can see that, right? I mean, it's your life. You guys, you served, you went to war, you went to combat, you served so many years. It's part of your life. And, you know, like I said, I have a grandfather who was a veteran. I have my mom's brothers who were veterans. They were in the Army, and, you know, I see how important it was for them, right? So it's a footprint here on Guam, right? The military is here. It's always going to be here. We'll always have people that may not always agree with that, but they're here.
But as you know, and this island is being as patriotic as it is, our veterans issue shouldn't be, you know, we shouldn't be, you know, who's in the administration. It should be our issue. Should be everyone's concern.
Right.
And,
it is.
And remember when we were serving, right? You don't get to pick and choose who the commander-in-chief is.
Right.
If he's there and he gives you the orders, you have to carry them out.
Exactly.
So this is where many of our veterans are not political types. They're more used to, hey, what's the mission? What do we got to do? It doesn't matter who's sitting in the seat.
Right.
That seat is what we're protecting, and what they tell us to do is what we go out and do. So again, for a lot of the things that we do, right? And everyone says, "Oh, I hate politics," right? But that's what runs our island.
Runs everything.
Yes,
right? I mean,
and
it's just the process.
And then if there's issues that deal with veterans, if veterans don't say anything or don't come out and do their part, then those issues that they see not being attended to are going to fall to the wayside. When you start saying, "Hey, I'm supporting this person who supports veterans," then you start seeing that, hey, these guys are folks that have been helping us and doing things with us, and the veterans see that. More importantly, they need to just get out and vote. For those that are combat and haven't filed, that's another process. Get out there and get your stuff done. Turn it in. Go see what you can get.
I mean, I talk to so many people out there, and it doesn't matter what you know, what you do for a living or what walk of life. I try to just encourage everyone to go out and vote. Right? It's our right as American citizens, right? And it's a very important right. And people in other countries are giving up their lives for that, just for that chance, right, to vote.
That's right.
And here we are, we have it, and sometimes we take it for granted, right? So there you go. So I hope everyone comes out and votes, right? Whether I'm one of those elected, if the man above and the people give me that choice, then that's fine. But if not, at least we get people that we can believe in, right?
Yes.
Yes. Well, and we are supported. We've seen that most recently with the oversight hearing that Senators Nicholas and Vice Speaker had. Right. And then I think maybe a few weeks later, maybe, I saw Senator Tello Tadigui and I think Senator Brown introduced transportation for veterans or healthcare for veterans. And that's, transportation to our appointments is important because, I announced on the radio that I didn't announce it today. Gosh, about the veteran transportation service. So the VA does have a shuttle. They can pick up veterans from their home and take them to their VA appointments. But that's not enough. Yeah. One shuttle, two shuttles, not enough.
Yeah, most definitely. So those are the things that I think the government can work on.
And it's great. On, right? It's great because you're right. You talked to us during the break, like how do we leverage what we have in GovGuam's resources for the veterans? Sure. And so what do we have? We don't know.
And that conversation, like what we're having now, is the beginning, right? And now we can investigate that and see what can be done, right?
Yeah, I was having a conversation with one of the veteran services organizations, and they brought that exact thing up. Who's involved? Where's this communication? Sure. Are we duplicating services? Why is it that we don't have one place where we can say, who takes care of this?
So here we go again. We're talking about this, right? Maybe there should be a veterans liaison office, right, in the government somewhere, and that's where veterans can take their issues up with anything they have with the government, and that's where that can be discussed, and maybe something comes out of that, right? So, we have medical referral offices. We can have one for the veterans as well, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Oh, wow. And that's it. That's all the time we have. Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Last few parting words.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, guys. And, anything you guys need, please, I'm here to support, right? And again, please, everybody out there, whoever's listening, register, right? Register to vote. It's so important. That's the only way change will ever happen. Right?
Thank you.
Okay. And thank you, Jose.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Monday
Thank you so
at
much.
6. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The Point is KUSG, Hagåtña, Guam, 93.3 FM and 104.3 HD3.
The head of Israel's intel is out. I'm Ted Lindner, Fox News. The Israeli military announcing today the head of its intelligence corps has resigned over the Hamas October 7th terror attack. Aharon Haliwa is the first senior intel official to step down, taking blame for not preventing the attack, which broke through Israel's vaunted defenses over 6 months ago. Haliva, as well as other military and security leaders, were widely expected to resign in response to the failures that led up to October 7th and those that made it such a devastating attack. But the timing of the resignation is still unclear because Israel is still fighting Hamas in Gaza and battling the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah in the north. Tensions with Iran are also at a high following attacks between the two enemies. Several rockets, meantime, fired from northern Iraq near a U.S. military base this weekend. Fox's Jill Nato has more on that.
At least 5 rockets were launched from the Iraqi town of Zumar, landing near a U.S. military base in northeastern Syria Sunday. But a U.S. official tells Fox it's not clear if the base was the target.